Yo, what's up, guys? Today is going to be Dead Cells Day. I have not actually ever sat down and listened to this entire soundtrack, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Sorry it was a little late. I was taking a nap. If you're new to the channel, welcome in. If this is your first time watching a live stream, welcome in. These are special because these are actually essentially supported and asked for by a very special tier of people at the very upper end of the Patreon. So I also wanted to take a second and special shout to Moth Takes Flight for the request for this entire OST. So super shout to Moth there. Moth Takes Flight for the request for this entire OST. Sorry about that. So I'm really hyped to check this out. I've played their second game, which is insanely good and really cool. So I'm really curious to see this. I will be like stopping for 5 tracks, track 2, 20, 27, 28, and 34. Yeah, let's just dive right in, shall we? This is the entire Dead Cells OST. Let me get rid of this. What up? Okay. All right, let's check it out, shall we? Starting with the title theme, Dead Cells. Yes to the DLC tracks. I really appreciate the chant in that. Huh. Nice dissonance. Kind of a yeah, it's cool. I mean, there's such a. I won't talk after every piece, by the way. I actually want to also just be able to listen to it, because it's really pretty. It's also kind of. I mean, the aesthetic is really interesting. So Dead Cells as a game is not a game that I like. I like it, but I have never committed to it more than maybe an hour, 2 hours, I'd say. And the reason is there's a couple different things, but predominantly like the timing thing is not really my style. I really, really, really love their second game, Windbloom. Now that's one I keep kind of installed everywhere in the event that I just want to like play it for a little while. I actually love that game. Dead Cells, though, aesthetically, I mean, Dead Cells manages to do the roguelike formula extremely well. And that alone is reason to be celebrated. But then on top of that, what we have to consider is the fact like this music makes the experience so much better, you know? And I think like there's something to be said for this, for Hades, for I'm trying to think of like other roguelite games, or okay, fine, even Blueprints that just came out. Now that's a roguelite. There's a distinction between light and like. Anyway, I might be mixing those two up. But you know, music is such a fundamental part of these experiences, and yeah, Dead Cells is like sweeping with mood. And it's also fun because we get some really nice stuff here now. Obviously, there's a bit of a sea shanty. It almost feels like you know, crossing into the prison, entering into, I don't know, like there's something about this music that's very especially with the choral chant in the background. I think that that's also really like just it permeates and it perpetuates this feeling of like sort of like light darkness, which is really like, it doesn't feel heavy or oppressive, but it still feels very sort of unsettled and unstable, which I really like. So I'm gonna stop and start a lot for track number 2, because that was one of the ones that Moth wanted me to take a deeper look at. So we'll stop and start as we go, and then kind of the rest I'm just to set expectations, but kind of just gonna vibe. If something pops into my brain, I'll say it, but in general, hey, what's up, first time chatters over there, Chief, and still alive. Nice to see you over there on Twitch. Otherwise we'll just kind of hang out and listen to the soundtrack together, okay? All right, let's check out Prisoner's Awakening. See, so this is cool. Like, we start kind of out of nothing. If you think about how a baby's born, right? If we think about like the process of like coming out and stepping into the world, right? There is a natural quality of build up to that moment, right? The incubation, the germination, the maturation inside the mother. And there's a natural sort of like build up in this particular piece as well. And I say all that not to be weird, but because it's called Prisoner's Awakening. And as we hear it musically, what we actually end up getting is the ho, ho, and this building to then the push out and the release. You know what I mean? And you hear how it sort of subtly in 27 seconds is building up to this big sort of large release out and the start of something new, which is the prisoner's awakening, coming to. You know what I mean? What? And this is terrific. Wow. Like I remember hearing this. That's right. Cause this is the first level, right? This is probably the only level. I think I only made it to like the second or third level. And then once I realized I had to go through the level as fast as possible to get to the other doors, I kind of decided to set it down. But just because that's not a mechanic that I'm particularly fond of. But like, wow. Right. Like, so even this is interesting because I don't actually know. Actually, let me ask you, does Dead Cells have a plot, chat? Because that would really, I'm just like kind of spinning about characterization here, but I wanted to clarify if there's a plot that really lines up. Kind of, yes? Okay. All right. It has lore. Okay. Well, so in my mind, when I hear the way that the guitar kind of moves, ba-dum, 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 da-da-dum, da-dum, 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 da-da-dum. There's a sadness in that sound, number one. And number two, you know, we end up getting this feeling of like, I can't go back. I have to keep fighting. I have to keep driving forward. I have to release myself from this pain. I have to be able to like shed this. I can't allow myself to be like caught up in this. I have to do this. I have to get out. And there's a desperate sense of drive in that. You know what I mean? Like there's a sense of like I will not be put down. I will not be stopped. I will not surrender because I can't go back to where I was. You know what I mean? Or momentum and uplifting. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like there's this sense of like, of urgency and in momentum. You know what I mean? That kind of keeps it like moving forward. Which I find really cool. Also, the chorus underneath, or well, chorus, it's synthesized there, but it's like, oh. So each time, oh, da, 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 oh, and then each time we're actually going down. It's almost as if while we are striving to move forward through the perils of this world, underneath we have this constant feeling of wanting to be trapped, you know what I mean? Or of feeling trapped. And so we're moving forward despite the sustaining that's going on underneath, which I think is really fun because sustaining is just like a totally normal thing to do in musical like chords and structure, right? We need the sort of like bass sections to keep the flow. But it's really fun when you have like a very clear, fast rhythmic tempo in the right hand while we're being like pressed down upon, you know what I mean? On the left hand, or well, in this case, if I'm thinking about it from a piano's perspective, right? So give me one sec. Yes, we are doing the DLC. There's 49 tracks here. Just gonna make this a little bit smaller. Can I just set it up so you can see the name? Let's see. I mean, can you even see the name? It's fine. I don't. And thanks again, Moth, for this. This soundtrack is about 3 hours and 40 minutes. We'll see if I get it done today. We may do two rounds of Dead Cells. I just may not be able to squeeze it all today. All right, let's keep going. That resetting is really cool. It's like shockingly simple, but incredibly complex. And then it goes there, and then that's so cool. You hear how it goes. So underneath, there's actually like a story here, right? There's the story of like constantly going, constantly moving to try to get to the exit. And then you have the bass, like I said earlier, trying to grab you. No, you can't go. You know, I love that. I love that dichotomy. It's such a fun thing about music. Hey, Timothy. Oh. And there's a little bit of primality in there, as if to say, like, don't stop, keep going, you know what I mean? Oh, wow, and then the chant over top, that's very interesting. See, and that's almost religious. Isn't that fun? The chant in there. And we continue with the momentum. It's almost as if to say, like, oh my God, I've lost everything. I have nothing left, right? And that's the sound, right? I have nothing left. I will not go back. I will not be surrounded by this. I will not surrender. I will keep digging, right? And that's the like ethereal quality in that, and that choir's almost like the mentality of the player or of the player avatar, where it's like I'm not gonna allow myself to be oppressed anymore, you know. But the drums, yeah, tons of momentum in the drums, of course. And again, the drum is a very natural sound, which is cool because it doesn't feel put on. It feels very, in some ways, the naturality of that, I guess, keeps it sort of striving. Keeps it very human. Almost like it doesn't want to lose itself. You know what I mean? It's very dope. Does that make sense, chat? Does that make sense to you? And there's some like slight dissonance there in pitch. I like it's a mix of hum now. It's such a cool little detail. Hold on, I was talking quite a bit here. Check this out. Isn't that nice? They go, ma. So we have a mix of the soprano voice and the front with the hum and the closed sound, really closed sound. And then we have the opening of it, right? And that, again, that's like subtle push and pull. You see how that looks? So you have the little and then it expands. Hey, Jenny. It expands itself into this sort of natural release. And again, I think that release is like desperation, right? I think. Don't be sorry, and thank you so much for supporting this stream, Moth. Shout out to Moth Takes Flight in the chat for Moth Take Flight for sponsoring the stream, essentially. I appreciate the rhythmic. The pared back, man, this is such good music for anything, really, for the gym, for like working at the office. I mean, maybe it's a little bit too oomphy emotionally. It's not very like chill, but there's a real sense of drive in that is incredibly satisfying. Really impressive so far. I love the strength of the you know what I mean? I really appreciate when these tracks have beginnings and endings. Hey, Aether, what's up, Aether? Really cool stuff. So, again, the rest of these tracks up until about track 20 will just be like little odds and ends blurted out, but in general, we're just kind of vibe. This is a chance for me to also listen to a soundtrack that I haven't played before. So for me, I'm also looking forward to just like taking it in with you. So think less opera singer teaches you or tells you about things, and more just a gamer and opera singer vibing out with a soundtrack that maybe will speak to him and want to say something. Just want to set that expectation. All right, so Promenade of the Condemned. Huh. Whoa, it's mixed meter. Oh, wow. Kind of feels like a rising sun, doesn't it? Like toiling away as the sun rises. Kind of like the picture, kind of. But then it kind of slows down a little bit, too. It's fascinating. Oh yeah, you even hear the birds chirping. It's a very like ephemeral, sort of ethereal quality to it. Ah, the second level is going outside of that hellish place. Can't remember. Huh. Ah, okay. Sorry, they're working stuff outside, so if you hear that noise, just pretend it's part of the soundtrack. I appreciate dialing back. This is actually like a fairly bold move to remove to just have percussion. Let me mute my mic so you hear what I mean. Now it's got a bit of low bubbling, doesn't it? It's cool. What a neat little thing to like kind of strip it of the stuff, you know? It's kind of a very confident thing to do. It threads the needle, actually, between dynamic and ambient really well, and melodic and ambient, too. Really pretty. So that's like the definition of an ambient track, that like it still had some nice momentum, but nothing compared to the previous Prisoner's Awakening. I dig it. I dig how it's sort of emotionally it's pretty flat, which is good. I really appreciated how that's a track where you could put it on and as you're being productive, feel yourself like moving to the productivity, which is I think really special and important. And yeah, really, especially the beginning of this, the sunrise really stood out to me. Also on the screen, I think I said it, but I don't remember. I just woke up from a nap. I'm just writing down the tracks that I'll be like deep diving into. And obviously if something comes to mind that is not on the list, I'm free to do so. So we'll see if like something speaks to me, but like I said earlier, we're just going to be chilling and hanging. And yes, we are going through, I should mention that we're going through all of the DLC. Well, that's okay. Anyway, Dead Cells, this is The Merchant. Yeah, what's up, Whiskey? That tier is full right now, Whiskey. Hey, Nate, thanks.
Lap 7.
25 months. Incredible, Nate. I appreciate you. I'll explain in a second why. A little bit of an evolution there. Is this OST in the Middle East style? I mean, it's kind of sounds like a sitar, but it's really more of a sort of a mandolin or a like a guitar sound there. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that it sounds too Middle Eastern based on like like modal movement and stuff. There is certainly some dissonance, but what I'm kind of impressed by is how peaceful and playful the merchant music is, because it's that melody is really fun. If anything, that sounds more like something you would hear in like the I'm trying to think, like the bubonic plague, the French Renaissance kind of. There's a sound in that that's very it almost feels like a dance. Troubadour, yes, exactly. There's a bit of like the guy sitting outside the window looking up, and obviously modern, but it does feel like it kind of evolves. It evolves out of the like the French sort of. It's funny. There's is sort of related. There's an opera called Il Trovatore, which Trovatore is the troubadour, but in Italian. And the first thing you hear when the tenor, who is the troubadour, when he starts to sing, he goes, "Deserto sulla It's weird. It's not exactly the same vibes, but it does give the same kind of vibes. Like the you could hear someone singing it. Maybe it even is the merchant actually like humming it to themselves. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? You can kind of hear just like strumming the guitar. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of neat. It's cool. Anyway, I don't know. I just like, again, I don't want to stop too many times just because we got like 3.5 hours of this, but admittedly, like, there's a natural, I don't know, there's a little bit of a spark in it. And so Whiskey was asking about, sorry, the lawnmower is confusing me. Whiskey was asking about suggesting soundtracks, and this is a very limited tier. There's 3 people in it right now, just because it's expensive, number one, and number two, it's just impossible to be able to maintain all of the requests. So the tier basically, just so you know the structure of it, is basically like max 40-ish songs, no more than 50. And then it can only be, it's either that or it's a maximum of 2 streams, so 4 hours, so 2-hour streams. Just because, as you can imagine, like, if I were to open that up to, let's say 10 people, like, wow, tons of money, right? But I would not have the capacity to actually do it. So I've kind of limited it to 3, just so that it's fair, and that I can also, like, I literally had to write out my schedule and print it out so I can see it every day, because otherwise I will work myself to the bone and then get overwhelmed, and then people are dropping like, $200, and I'm not able to actually fulfill my responsibilities as a creator and as a person who wants to enjoy this music, and it ends up becoming like a job, and I want to keep it as clean as possible. But plug, there are plenty of other tiers if you do want to join the Patreon and support me directly and support my editor and my thumbnail designer. No pressure though. We're just here to hang out and listen to music. But yeah, these streams, they're a big deal, and I try to really like focus in on them. So. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, cool. Let's check out Prison's Rooftop, which I assume is connected to Prisoner's Awakening. Oh, wow. I love that percussion. What game? I really like the percussion in this. And you get the bass has some really interesting... Oh, First Berserker actually bought that soundtrack. This is dope. You're jumping from roof to roof? Kind of hear that with the way that the percussion's being hit. Man, I love that. Wow. So I want to stop really quickly. I'm sorry. First of all, god damn, if this motherfucker doesn't stop mowing the lawn. No, I'm just kidding. What I think is really cool is the sense that there's what I really like about music, and what I spent 10 years of my life basically coordinating and trying to come to like sort of awakenings about, is the idea that certain melodic gestures can elicit different emotions. And so we were talking earlier in Prisoner's Awakening about what it's like to essentially like be born, to be birthed, to never surrender, to never give up, right? And those things come through in sound. And in this particular case, ya da da da. So that's 4 notes, right? And I find that what's incredibly impressive to me about music and about really good composition, which in games, I mean, basically anything we talk about. What the fuck's going on outside? I heard, ah! In games, we have a litany of incredibly good composers. And you heard that scream too? I was like, he went, ah! Anyway. Hope he's okay. That phrase, ya da da da, that is heartfelt, right? That's like a fear of loss. That's the sound again of desperation. But even it's interesting how if we really take a close look at it, desperation has many different angles to it. Like desperation is the word. But the cool thing about music is that there's desperation. Desperation is the word we try to use to describe something. But the music actually gets into the cracks of the words, and like it's incredible, isn't it? I mean, music is the things that are left unsaid, the subtext behind words, the things that not even thought can really like get in there. And that's the thing about emotion, is that emotion is incredibly complex, and it's so layered. I'm so sorry about the lawn, guys. There are so many different shades of emotional color that I think music is able to perforate, and it, to the point that words don't really help. And that's why I spend a lot of time trying to come up with as many words as possible to describe something that someone in chat will mention like with one word, because of the nuance that's required in order to fully grasp the feeling of that kind of desperation when you hear do you understand what I mean? Like, that is different than the desperation that I mentioned earlier, right? And I think that's really cool. And also too, like that kind of like analysis, like the emotional analysis of what a phrase or a turn of the notes, that kind of depth is really, really, really cool and smart to do. So if you're ever like bored, do this for yourself. Like, sit down with a piece and like really like contemplate, whoa, okay, this is what I feel. Why do I feel this so intensely? Or what is this music trying to get me to feel? Because you may not necessarily have access to that within yourself, right? But the music allows us to go into a depth that is very hard to do just with words. I hope that made sense. Because even there's like a harmony. I love this percussion immensely. Very cool. To pull back like that it's the same rhythmic gesture. Wow, that's fucking crazy. I love percussion, dude. I feel like percussionists have always had the most fun. I'm enjoying this so much. We may not do the whole thing today because I don't want to like push through. We may split it up into 2 days. See how I feel in like 25 tracks. Man, I love that. I wonder if that's... The upper register flip like that, it's so cool. Using the oo vowel within a little bit of the hit. I'm gonna buy this soundtrack. I shouldn't have been a drummer. My rhythm is too much shit. I'm gonna buy the soundtrack. Dead Cells. What? Return to Castlevania? The fuck? Hey, yo, what? Return to Castlevania? That's one of the DLC? Oh, shit. Let me buy that first. Holy shit. Damn, it's only $6 on Apple Music. $1 a track. You get your money's worth at 99 cents a track like this. I bought it on Apple Music, so like Google Music should have it. This is such good workout music. Wow. Who's Wittgenstein? Hold on, you can see. The subtle guitar in there is really cool, by the way. I adored that track. Wow. You know what? I've liked every single one so far. That's really crazy. I'd probably say the weakest one was the fucking title theme. Hi. but even that, it's not like weak. It's not even weak. It's just like, especially when you compare it to Prisoner's Awakening, and the percussion in Promenade of the Condemned was really good. The Merchant was incredibly lovely. Ludwig Joseph Johann Wittgenstein was an Austrian philosopher who worked primarily in logic, the philosophy of mathematics, and the philosophy of the mind, and the philosophy of language. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. We spent a lot of time in my opera days talking about like the complexity of emotion, and how music elevates the like common tongue, you know what I mean? Because there's a wall at some point where, I mean, if you think about it, good communication, which we all struggle with, good communication can only get you so far, because one has to articulate and be able to find the words to, and this is why vocabulary I think is really important, and I think as we've gotten, don't let me go into too hard of a tangent, but as we've developed, we have simplified our vocab, but the problem is that the things that we feel are still very complex, and we have reduced the words that we use in order to try to get our meanings across, in this black and white sort of perspective, certainly on the internet that we get, because the nuance of it all, that's the crux of it. And I think like what I love about music, and what I think like video game music and really all music does really well, is that, for the most part, is that it breaches the barrier where the wall of verbal expression stops. Because at a certain point, we only have so many words that you know or don't know. After that, what's left? And that's where music comes in. And I think that music can really, and my job as an opera singer was to try to convey emotion through word and song in order to get an audience to buy into and connect to a musical experience they were seeing as a third party. And so how do you bring an audience along with you so they become a primary in that experience, so that they themselves are an active participant rather than the fly on the wall for whatever the drama is on the stage? And so it's often really funny. In fact, if you don't mind me just going on an even longer tangent, I saw some critique, if you will, about my my skill set, and it doesn't really matter because that person's wrong anyway. But they were essentially talking about how my musical like language is actually not that diverse or educated or deep compared to like other professionals like composers and stuff. And this is nothing new because I've dealt with this, and I expected to deal with this a lot when I started my channel, because the things that you see predominantly on YouTube are like composers, pianists, folks like that. But the reality is that the nuance of emotion is a fundamental aspect of the musical storytelling process. And frankly, who better to talk about the ins and outs and the intricacies of emotion than a person who literally spent every day working on the emotion of music? And composers do this too, but like I had to interpret what the composer wrote, but the composers that I was talking about were dead. So there was no way to like ask them, hey, what did you mean when you wrote this? And so that's when interpretation comes in, and that's when feeling a piece and deducing for yourself what is meant. So it's always very interesting how this stuff sort of manifests itself, and hearing all of these has been really wonderful so far. So let's check out Black Bridge. Okay, Moth, thanks again. Oh, thanks, Emmett. Write a book? Wow, could you imagine? That'd be wild. So this is the first boss, but it's interesting because even this is extremely dialed back. Yeah, I like the sorry, this has seltzer in it and got stuck in my throat. So much doubling in there. Oh my god, that's crazy staccato. Dying. Can dying on stream actually get you banned? That'd be hilarious. He was banned for dying. You need the diversity of approaches because no musician views music in the same way. And I find that that's a really interesting conversation about music itself. Like everyone, there's only one way to find out. Hold on one sec. Something not to, again, deviate too hard, but like one of the things that kind of bothers me about this whole like professional does XYZ about XYZ is a very gatekeepy actually, because it's not meeting the viewer in the trenches, like in the space. It's like, oh, I am the professional, therefore I know more than you. And actually, as the years have gone on, I've actually started. It's probably been about a year that I've really started to hate that, and not hate, but like strongly kind of push my content away from the opera singer XYZ, because not only was I a gamer before I was a professional opera singer, for the time that I was a professional opera singer, but also you and I actually, and this is something that really rubs me the wrong way, is that us listening to this music, those of us that are in this live stream, we are feeling different things, but we are all commonly coming together in order to explore and listen to music. That is not it's not a question of like Marco has more information, which I suppose I do, but that doesn't mean that I feel more than you, right? I'm just able to like articulate it or look at how a piece is composed due to experience and bring it up. So all that to say, the elitism comes when a person says, I'm a professional, let me tell you what I hear. Versus like, yo, what did you feel? What did you hear? Here's what I felt. I'm curious to know what you think. Or does it make sense when I explain this to you this way? Or whatever. Like that is way more interesting, especially as a communal group of gamers who like are just here to vibe to Dead Cells. And like, if I didn't like the soundtrack, I would still try to like provide some sort of value. But anyway, all that to say, like, having multiple, like if you had two other musicians in here, they would actually have totally different perspectives. And in fact, some of the musicians would probably hate this. It's just a question of like lived life experience, right? And so I think like, you know, watching others, like engaging in musical conversations if you have access to them. And that was another reason I started the channel, is that I had no access because my best friends in my circle, you know, when I started the channel, I was 34. And no one around me was really into games. And so I had no one to talk to about how good that, like, I don't know, whatever Dead Cells soundtrack was, right? And so by building a base of like people that can come together and listen to a soundtrack, it's fucking awesome. You know, because I mean, like, you have thoughts just like I do. Yours are not irrelevant just because you weren't a professional opera singer. Or more so, I'm always really impressed by musicians that actually come to the channel and stick around. Because I've seen musicians that have been like, oh, I'm not really interested in that content because I already know everything that he's talking about. Nothing crazy. Okay. But if you're a musician and you come and chill and listen to something, if you're open-minded enough, then all of a sudden you have a even more perspective about you know, a piece of music. And ultimately, isn't music about like getting to know it and exploring it and again feeling the ins and outs of it? Sorry, you're catching me on a weird day today. I like read some drama about me specifically that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And so I'm like thinking about my like ethos and like my place in the YouTube land and like my place as a musician, and like I'm like starting to get some singing gigs again, not like not on stage, but like just like doing stuff, which is sort of like shifting my brain again. Like, oh, I'm still a singer. Like, you know, like maybe I won't say former professional anymore. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So you're catching me on a weird day. But basically what I'm saying is I'm just better than you. Your words. So much doubling in here, though. It's crazy. That's cool. That's a cool little accent. Man, it's like so hard because I don't want to burn myself out on analyzing every track, but there's so many little gestures in here that are really dope. So get this like shun 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 bada. That's so cool because it's like thum 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 hit, you know, like it's like the oh shit, he's like right there, especially if it's a boss. It's like thum 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 da. You know what I mean? It's like it's such a fun little gesture, you know. It's really cool. It's really cool. You don't make song suggestions anymore because I believe you don't really need input from me, who is uneducated. Well, I mean, I think like suggesting songs is never a bad thing. You should, especially. I mean, I appreciate your support, but like part of the like exchange transactionally is, I mean, you know, either you just support, which is fine, but also there's nothing wrong with. Even if that's true, like you can always like there's always something to share. You know what I mean? But also one other thing I wanted to say about that too is that sometimes there's no magic. Like sometimes there's no secret sauce. Like in reality, if I'm saying something that's obvious, that's a good thing. That means that you also were able to pick up on it, right? And like, I used to feel insecure about being like, oh, the doubling, because of course it's doubling. You can hear it's doubling, but actually, some people can't hear that it's doubling. But like, if you're like, oh yeah, that is doubling, cool. You know what I mean? Because like, what's wrong with there's nothing wrong with like re-emphasizing or re-highlighting the very basic stuff that occurs in music. Like this right here, this phrase is nothing crazy. There's nothing in here. I don't know what the chord is, but not knowing the chord doesn't make a person less of a musician. It's just that that's not the scope or focus of what my previous profession was. And so it's really cool because musically, like top down sort of, I guess, superficially, you look at that and you're like, oh, thum, 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 thum. Everything's in unison. We're coming together. Oh, and then there's this moment where it jumps out at you. Bada! Whoa! Obviously, you hear that as much as I do. Like that doesn't make me more knowledgeable. That's just me being like, hey, did you notice that? That's fucking dope. Okay. You know what I mean? And in fact, let's listen to it again because it was dope as shit. I think it was right here. Isn't that cool? Like there's this like horn thing. Some really nice syncopation in the back with that bass drum too. See, the brass really sells the size. Someone said, I think Lobotomite said it was the lumbering quality, and you actually hear the lumbering in the lower like trombone sound. And in this like this cello and bass sound as well. Thum, thum. But this is kind of fast, so it's hard to say like this is the lumbering thing. All right, don't let me talk too much because we have a lot of tracks. All right, 7, The Village. Man, this percussion is so good. Boom, boom. More guitar. It's cool. Actually, it reminds me a lot of Blast from this. Different aesthetic, but similar vibes. Oh! This clapping, if it was castanets, it'd be cool too. Shit, let me just re-download this game. Oh. Oh, I have it on my PlayStation. Okay, I bought the, I rebought it. The Medley of Pain edition. Oh, okay, the time doors don't matter. So I don't have to feel like I need to rush. Okay, that's good. Oh yeah, you're right. Ah, I misunderstood. I thought it was an essential to progression. Ah, okay. Ah, okay. Again, look at this. Listen to this doubling, and there's a doubling with the harmony up the octave. Totally Prime, yeah, totally. Oh, okay. Shut the dump. Love that doubling. Yeah, that's cool. I guess I wasn't aware of how like popular and beloved Dead Cells is actually. Isn't that's interesting? Huh. Hello. Yeah, that's really fun. I think that was probably the one I liked least of the lot. This one in title. But I think it did a really great. I really enjoyed the guitar in that especially. Okay, let's go to Toxic Sewers. Bye, Nate. Take care of yourself. Both Nate and I bought this game today, so. Thanks for the 25 months, brother. Appreciate that. That's a long time of support. Ooh, more dissonance there, obviously. Did it really? Oh yeah, best action game and best independent game at the Game Awards 2018, and it won best indie game at the Golden Joysticks in 2018. Wow. "17 nominations. 6 wins. It's pretty impressive. Gaelic composer. I like how this you can actually hear the underbelly because it's the sewer. Wow, look at this gorgeous vinyl. Oh, this is with laced. God, that percussion is so good. When I make music, it's much more of a spiritual thing. I translate a feeling I have. Ha. Find it fun to listen to classical music and recreate various types of orchestration and patterns. Favorite composer is Igor Stravinsky. Oh, The Rite of Spring, yeah. That's cool. I like that track a lot. Ossuary. Favorite is Czech composer Antonin Dvorak. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's mostly a melodic approach on the guitar rather than big chords. More folkish. You can hear it right here, actually. That's really interesting. Diablo 2 proved to be a big inspiration for the sound of Dead Cells. Wilderness inspired. Oh. Yuzo Koshiro. Wow, yeah. Streets of Rage. Holy shit, that's crazy. So this is a really messed up place. That percussion's fun. Dum, boom, boom, boom. Cool. Check out that article if you want to read it for yourself. Major suddenly it's Wow, that's intense. Elite fight. Same sound, but sped up, and I love the chant in there. Oh, elite fights during the level? I see. Yeah, okay, that comes through. Oh, no. I'm surprised by the major sections here, actually. It's kind of dope. Oh. Short and sweet. What's interesting is that even that has like sort of bubbling of tension there. It's kind of cool because it connects us to that again. That I think desperation is a thing that exists throughout this. And I guess it makes sense because if you die, you lose your progress. Now, obviously, you retain the things that you collect, or I forget how it works exactly, but I'll find out later today when I play it, when I go home, or when I leave the office. But that's really interesting. It still has that desperation, but it's mixed in with the fight. The fight music is actually the chant, not the yo. That's pretty cool. What's up, Neutralizer? You jump from YouTube to Twitch? Hello. All right, let's check out Old Sewers. Oh, there's even continues in an easy mode? Oh god, okay. Looks like I'm going to be playing this game. I love easy mode, by the way. Yeah, I love the dripping of the water. But you feel how the sound effect leaves us with a sense of almost like the gas mask. Oh, fungi, spores, humidity, and mold. Interesting. It feels like a slow, like, march to your death, doesn't it? Like, there's a dirge of death in there. I love when games have easy modes. Absolutely, I do. Yeah. I'm glad you also love it. I love it. I love the experience of playing a game, not so much being challenged. This place feels like Twitter. Yeah, it's really good ambiance because there's still momentum. That's the thing about it too that's really cool, is that there's momentum. But it's like subtle, so it's not just like nebulous sort of ambiance. See, actually it picks up. That's cool. It's actually like naturally picked up as time has gone on. That's cool. The breathing in there is really oppressive though, yeah? I've heard great things about Wanderstop. I want to play it actually. Just some of Kazan's music, not all of it. I have the soundtrack though, I purchased it. Kazan the first Berserker. The first Berserker Kazan. The lower notes are actually also so oppressive because you can't actually hear them per se. So they just like kind of lean in and squeeze the life out of you, which is very cool. All right, the cemetery. More chant. This is dope. Wow. You can hear like the dead, you know, like you get the sound of like the sea of the dead, just like we died, we suffered, we're in pain, we're in agony. And the church bell in the back. Oh, gotta have a church nearby. Conjunctivitis. That's the next track. What a mood. What a mood. The sparseness of it is really what's killing me. And you still have the breath again too, which is really, I think, really fun. But like that's actually like deeply oppressive. But the chanting, consistent chanting in that is immensely satisfying. It's so much fun. Okay, so I wouldn't want to listen to this at the gym. I'd probably skip this track in my day-to-day listening. Just gonna be upfront about that. Hello. That bell in the back. In some ways, the low voices, the VST, because it's not real voices, actually makes it sound even scarier because it lacks some of the breath and the vibrato that makes like a human. You know what I mean? Yeah, not listening to this track while working out. Yeah. Playing League while listening to sewer music. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's always a sense of non-driving driving rhythm with the breath and stuff. This is conjunctivitis. Oh? Again, the intensity of the piece. Wait. Sorry, there's a question. Wait, how is the chant made? Oh, it's made with a VST. It's made with like the computer. It has a sound sample where it sounds like voices. So by doing it like that, it ends up losing some of the like natural like purity / impurity of the voice, which creates this sound that's very like, it almost sounds too perfect, or it's very unified. You can also hear the tinniness in that. Okay, conjunctivitis is a big tentacle monster chained to the wall. Oh, cool. It actually... Oh, it goes down. Major clash. What? Wait, that's such a cool transition. So the voices go major, and then we get this clash. And then that's like a desperate struggle. It's almost like a power clash in Monster Hunter where you like connect like this. It's like... Also, no normal voice could do this kind of staccato singing. I mean, you can, because you just squeeze the muscle and do it, but it's too clean. But hang on, I want to hear this transition. Major! It's so funny. Oh man, because it just sounds like such a power struggle. That really feels like two opposing forces just connecting and hitting each other in the face. That's really cool. It's a really nice small movements there. Yeah. See, that's what's dope. So that's so cool. So the guitar is moving at a fast speed, and then you have sustaining. Again, I talked about this actually earlier, which is really cool. But now we hear it in a different way, and that's what's really fun is that it's just taking the similar pieces of the puzzle and just moving them around, and they fit other pieces. But like one of the things that's really cool about this piece is it's the same thing as I think it was the Promenade of the Condemned. I think the fast momentum is done in the guitar, whereas it was before too. Actually, yeah, and the bass was supporting the like long sustain. But then here, what's really effective is that actually the long sustain is happening with the chorus, and there's a bit of oomph on the bass as well. But so it's cool how the voices are actually moving little by little. So there's nothing like grandiose or big about it. It's just like half steps, whole steps, whatever. And then it kind of just like, while the guitar is the momentum. And you know what the emotional state of this is to me? This really feels like, all right, this is going to be cringe, but I'm going to go for it. It's like, the emotional state that I hear is like, it's like, what do you mean? How could I possibly go back and do this? I have a choice to make. I have to do this. I have to move through. You will not stop me. You will not get in my way. It's not desperation. It's gumption. It's forward momentum. It's whatever it means to like, to not allow, like gumption, impassable. There's like a sense of strength in that music, even though there's tension in it. You know what I mean? It's really dope. It's really dope. It's like, I can't think of the word, but there's a word that I really think means this, where it's like, I will not be defeated, but there's like a very special word that I can't think of, but it's cool how the vocals are the thing that supports the really nice crescendos too. And then we add the layering of the oboe or the brass. Whoa, that's all over the place. Wow, I liked that track. That track was really visceral, but it was very like I love how the pretty much every track we've heard, with the exception of Ossuary and the Two Sewers, and I guess the Cemetery as well, were very telling of the place, and so they became inherently ambient in the sense that they like felt very like you kind of just put them on in the background and you listen to them and they are what they are. Whereas Whereas all of this, like that track and some of the other tracks as well, are very melodic in their movement, despite being, well, and all, even ambient tracks have melody. I mean, melody is the thing, but like the difference between atmosphere and emotional intention is different between melodic and ambient tracks. Okay. Prison's depths. Actually, let me run to the bathroom. Give me 2 seconds. I did not die. I did not die. I sat down. Um You know, it's a flex. I'm creating a new series called Composers You Should Know, and the first one I'm doing is around Austin Wintory. And I messaged him yesterday and I go, "Hey man, I'm gonna do a video on you. What songs do you want me to cover? Because I know what I would pick, but what do you want me to pick?" And so he's gonna get me a list of songs that he really likes, that he composed, that maybe people don't necessarily know. I'm really excited to. They're not gonna be like biographical, really. They're just gonna be like, "Hey, these composers are dope. Here's why. Listen to these pieces." So I'm excited to see what he like sort of sends my way as pieces that he feels, you know, represent him as a composer in the gaming space. So, Monkey, thank you so much for your raid. Thank you for your raid. Anyway, all right, I'm back. Thank you, Monkey. I appreciate that. Salutations. All right, let's check out Prison's Depths. What is Astrolab? Hello. Welcome, Raiders. All right, Prison's Depths. Oh, Spiritfarer. Oh my god, were you crying? Ooh! It's like a, harpsichordish. Oh, we'll get there. There's an angry part? I need to play that game. Yeah, I know I would. I need to listen to it. But it's so interesting. It's so interesting because that oscillates into this like positivity sound. And like why? You know what I mean? Like it like the harpsichordy like sort of lute sort of sound is so what's up India is so like it's odd because it's unnerving, but it's also like kind of bright. You know what I mean? It's kind of like there's a feeling in it of like discovery, you know, of revelation, of like a learning almost. It's interesting. Like it doesn't sound like prison depths. You know what I mean? It sounds like yeah, it's just like there's a warmth in it, especially with the way that we do the arpeggiate. Oh, because you discover a big truth. Remember what I said earlier? Maybe I just do know more than you guys, you know? I'm just kidding. Just fucking around, sorry. So I'm sorry. For those of you that just joined, that joke will be very insensitive to you. I'll tell you later. You just had to be there. I'll tell you later. I love that. I love the sound in that. I love how like it like washes over you. You know what I mean? There's a real feeling of like, what? Oh my goodness. You know? I love that sound. It's so like. There's that chant too. That's funny. And that's the shift. Actually, when the chant comes in, that's the shift. You know what I mean? Huh. Wait, is that the PlayStation logo? Why is that the PlayStation logo sound? I just flashed back to 1998. Oh my god, I'm loading up Final Fantasy VII. No one's talking about romancing Tifa or Aerith. Oh. So what I was saying earlier was there was the idea is that the concept behind like professional reacts or professional breaks down XYZ is that it comes from a place of other, and it comes from a place of like, I know more than you, which I'm starting to really push against. And so the joke I was making earlier when I got the like sort of concept of the idea, a concept of a plan, we have a concept of a plan, a concept of the idea there, was that the joke was that I know more than you because I just naturally just was like, oh, duh, this is what's happening because the music is telling me, because I'm such a professional. And my point is that anybody can there's no gatekeeping when it comes to music and how we feel and what we connect to when we like, feel it. So that was the joke. Also, don't explain your jokes to people. That usually never works and is actually not it makes jokes not funny. All right, prison theme. Huh? Don't worry about it. Nothing important. Nothing important. I don't seem like a super expert. I think I'll accept that as a compliment. The fuck you say? This is good. Nice slow pace. Yeah, no, we're not going to the doctoral thesis classroom with this. No. Le négatif. Yeah, this is like a coming to. You're right. It's like a coming to a. Is this loss? It could be. To me, it feels like dismay, you know. Like on your knees being like, what? You know? Now what do I do? You know what I mean? Like you're still going, you know what I mean? You're still navigating something, but loss often has that too, yeah. Sidekick, is that Michael Jackson in your profile picture? I like how the... What's up, Vlad? I love the percussion. All right, let's check out the Crypt. What's up, Grimbo? Oh, I love the use of whisper. Have you noticed this? Actually, it's worth it bears it's worth repeating. Do you notice that there's a constant when the percussion does come in? There's a constant. Have you noticed that? Almost every single piece that has this sort of bongo percussion, that's the piece that is there, which is kind of cool. It's a commission of a made-up superhero sidekick. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, moist places scare me as well. Whoa, you heard Luke's Eterna? Wow. Hey, Funny, what's up? Crescendo build into... It's right. Luke's Eterna, Light Eternal. Ironic that it resembles that. It's true. Hey, Dark Lord, what's up, man? We'll listen to Planetary Annihilation next week, Dark Lord, by the way. Just wanted to give you a heads up. It's a fidget spinner. I find the actually let me stop really quickly. There's some really cool stuff that actually happens in the background. Ironically, that's the most replayed part. But there's the synthesized corner there. It sort of it almost crushes it crushes the sound with the synth there, which is really cool. He thought it was a speak. Yeah, I made a mistake. I think whispering is such an evocative way to... I mean, whispering makes so much sense for a crypt, you know. Again, I also appreciate that long sustained... You know. The whispering and the wind howling in between... Wind's howling. The wind howling between the... Oh, cool. Oh my god, this reminds me of the anvil chorus from Trovatore, that thing I mentioned earlier. Using the anvil strike, the blacksmith strike. That's so cool. Oh, that's fun. That's so cool. Dum 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 da da dum dum. Clock towers in 3 tracks. We're on track 17. Both of these are 1 minute. The Cook. Wonderful doubling there. Upper harmony. You know what's interesting is that both the merchant and the cook, the way that the guitar plays within each of those is actually pretty enthusiastic in a slow way. What I think is really cool is that there is a inherent quality in both of these of like peace. Obviously because we have a moment to rest, but also because these characters are genuinely invested in helping us as players and as characters to continue that run, right? And also so that's fun. So because you hear it in the guitar and in the upper harmony as well, there's the sense of like, you know what I mean? I really like that because even though they move, they don't try to, they're not viscous. They're very light, almost airy pieces, it's really fun. Get annoyed at you? That's really funny. All right, so next up is the temple. Yo. just gotta chill. See you, Dark Lord. Thank you. Sorry about that. I'll see you next Monday for that. 5 o'clock. What's up, Usabri? Welcome to the chat. Interesting use of the mallet instrument. Wub, 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 Oh, cool. So subtle. It's that percussion rhythm again. This one really has an ethereal quality to it, doesn't it? Like a little bit of mysticism. Distant hum, heartbeat. Almost an oppression in there. Okay. And there's the clock tower as we ascend. So this track, Clock Tower, Clock Tower will be a stop and start as I analyze it and listen to it and find things. All right, let me put out my brain. You know, it's interesting right off the bat. First of all, I love stopping at the first like couple seconds of a piece, because the first couple seconds of a piece are what? The first couple seconds of a piece are intended to set it up, right? And any good piece usually has a proper, depending on the piece, has a proper beginning, middle, end, exposition, conflict, climax, resolution, right? That's like the literary structure. You find it in music as well, depending on the length of the piece, depending on the, whatever. So one of the cool things here is that obviously we're in a clock tower. So that's already in the title. And what's fun to me about this piece right off the bat is that two things. One, using the clock as a rhythmic and musical device is no different than if you like listen to the Typewriter Symphony, where we literally have the typewriter playing the rhythm. And what's really cool is the footsteps. Now, the footsteps could also be the swinging of the pendulum that's in the grandfather clock, or it's the physical like approaching of a conflict. And I think that's really cool, because you're walking towards a situation and you have this dunk, 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 dunk. Pretty cool. Nightbot is spamming. Nightbot just wants you to like and subscribe and join Patreon. He's very pushy. I'm sorry about him. I'm sorry about Nightbot. It's just that more people need to be chatting so you can suppress him. He really wants you to check out my gameplay VODs too, by the way. Even though there's that channel is basically non-functional. Anyway, so I think that's really cool that it's almost like walking on rickety steps. It's almost like I picture the arena where you fight Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower, right? Like, it's cool how the pendulum mixed in with the footsteps is two different things. And also, this is all kind of prep. So let's keep going. Dum, 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 dum. Wow. So that's cool, because we go in, we actually join forces there for a second, which is really fun, because the first like maybe like 10-15 seconds ago, we were having the upper register of the guitar was just going all out, right, while the lower one was supporting it. Man, first of all, I really love, I've only seen like Indian folks do this rhythm. I'm always so impressed every time I watch these videos. It's like some like Indian rhythm master going, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? You're amazing. Anyway, unrelated. I don't know why my brain went there. But so here is really cool, because we actually, the guitar, to me, the upper register of the guitar symbolizes the playable character. And if you're saying that the clock tower, there's climbing up and going higher and higher. I wonder, can you take me higher? I wonder if that's Creed, by the way. A lot of you are probably too young. I think that's wow. The thoughts are winning today. Keep them inside, buddy. I wonder if the upper register symbolizes the climbing of that clock tower. You know what I mean? So a really smooth transition to the new phase was the which that actually feels like birds, right? And of course we do have birds on the picture, which made me kind of think about it. But it really feels like we're just ascending. First of all, let me fix this because I don't know what happened there. It really feels like we're ascending, and there's this like slight moment of peace, right? With the and then we got this and then we move into the new phase. But it's cool to see how composers transition from one phase to the next, which is really fun. Dwarf, you're welcome in, Dwarf. You're going to be 35 this month. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Eldritch Dwarf, happy birthday to you. Shot, boom, shot, boom, shot. I wonder if that spinning isn't the gears. Yeah, and so it ends up feeling like a piece of triumph, right? A piece of overcoming obstacles, a piece of. Well, now I know a little bit of the context, but like a feeling of ascension, a feeling of moving through a difficulty and emerging the other side, or finally crossing the barrier that was keeping you locked away. You know what I mean? Like the thing that was blocking you. Suddenly we have this moment of that free. It almost feels like free flying, you know, and it feels like like hopping on a line and then like flying up into the sky and looking down and being like, okay, like I'm still fighting for something, but we're almost done. You know, like I'm achieving something that I've been wanting to achieve, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but I'm navigating it. And I think part of that is because of the upper register guitar. Part of it's also this twirling that we're getting with the flute. And then part of it also is buoyed and boosted. This is something that happens all the time by the the lower voice in the guitar, right? That's sort of like that's harmonizing and hitting the big beat every time. And that big beat is allowing everything around it to be subdivided and to be moving forward. I think that's really cool. It's, what's interesting is that it's not heavy. And in fact, none of the pieces that we've listened to have been they haven't been very loud. A lot of them have been, in a weird way, the OST is actually extremely introspective, isn't it? Like they're still, like, Clock Tower is like a big moment, musically, but it doesn't like reach a peak and then like swell into it. You know what I mean? It's like very interesting to me. Because most pieces are like, oh, I have to add the loud part, and we do increase in tempo and in dynamics, volume wise, and we also layer dynamically. We stack different instruments and stuff there, but yeah, it's like, Anyway, let's keep listening. Cool. I didn't realize the time was speeding up and slowing down, no. But I guess that's what that heavy percussion is. Because you're right, there is a bit of a push and pull. Oops. Formerly known as Assassin, formerly known as Prince. Really dope. I really enjoyed that track. That track was incredibly beautiful. Again, very intimate, kind of. Okay. So, 27 and 28 will be the next ones that I will speak on. All right, formerly known as Assassin. Wow, cool. Wow. Dum, 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 dum. Dum 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 Again, the crunch in the background is really cool. Oh, hey, Sammy. What's up, dude? I heard you had an interesting day. Huh. Oh, okay. You know, that music was very, very boisterous, but again, it was the upper register, like sort of soprano at the very, very, very top. I felt like that was really really intriguing because it sort of leaves us with a sense of like get out of here, or you don't belong here, or you should have never stepped foot here. There's very much like a frenetic pace and speed. Also, the little bit of the distortion that comes up in the synth ends up sounding really twisted, and there's like an amalgamation, or like not an amalgamation, but like a deformity to it, which is really interesting. It's just like, in a way, like it kind of makes me feel like in another like world you could potentially like ally with this character. Like there's a certain quality about it that isn't just like dangerous or just like, you know, risky or terrifying. Like there's almost like a respect in the sound, even though like the fight, it's like very clearly a fight, right? Like there's I found that really interesting. Anyway, collector's theme. Oh, I love Divinity Original Sin 2. OST wise. I like how he uses the motif that we heard just earlier. It's almost like a continuation of the previous sound. You know what I mean? Oh, this is the guy at the beginning with all the what's it called? It's the chains and stuff, where you put like the weapons and shit. All right, let's check out Castle. Neat arpeggiation. Oh, cool. Da dum 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 da dum dum da dum da dum dum da dum 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 dum. That's awesome, Mr. Piggles. That's all I could ever ask for. That's all I want to be able to do. Almost has banjo vibes to it a little bit, doesn't it? I love that. Bum bum. The equivalent of Honor Orlando. That's cool. Dum, 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 dum. Zorro, yeah. This track is absolutely cool. I love the chanting and the shouting in it. Sounds like it's predominantly male chorus. So you feel like the Knights, you know? The Knights are really strong. There's a super dominant male force in that. But it's quick. It's quick movements and stuff. It's you know, it's jumping around. It's speedy. It's efficient. It's dangerous. It's you know, it's very elegant and regal at the same time, which is, I think, where the guitar represents. It represents like a little bit of class, not like a harpsichord kind of way, but in like a there's a certain debutante quality about it. But then the male chorus is very strong, very dominant, a lot of shout, a lot of ba ha ha ba. You know, it's very forceful, while being elegant, which makes me think of knights in armor. Or there's an agility to it, which is really interesting as well. Just to set expectations, I will be stopping at the end of track number 27, and this will be the end of part 1. We will continue part 2 sometime next week or by the end of April. So stay tuned for that. So we'll finish up here. We'll listen to the next 3 tracks. And then I'll have to stop there. So we'll have finished all of the base Dead Cells in this video, and then the DLC will appear on part 2, which will be later this month. Okay, let's check out Hand of the King. Oh, that's cool with the tambourine. Whoa! What's up, Loki? Welcome in. You know, those strings in there are really interesting because those strings actually lend themselves to this idea that, like, even though this is, you know, the hand of the king or what have you, like there's a real like sadness that this character seemingly carries, where it's not just about like being strong and taking you down. It's really like, it's almost like a, I don't know. My brain says like, I don't want to, right? Like there's an edge of like respect or at the very least there's like this feeling of poise and elegance. But it doesn't feel, it's interesting because the whole track, it doesn't lend itself to the idea of like destruction, decay, killing, you know, all the stuff that you would expect from like a final boss. It's got a bit of a subdued, almost like a majestic sort of like reverence quality to it, which I find kind of interesting. I also think like the chant again leans into that idea of the like the whole like the castle's sort of OST as well. And then as far as I really like the male chanting in this. It's a very dominant force and a very powerful force. And then as far as the question of like where would I rank Dead Cells compared to Bloodborne, Elden Ring, or Dark Souls, I actually don't think that it really fits in with those. So I wouldn't even rank it there because it's really not the same. This is much more of an evolution of like, I mean, it makes sense. Like this feels like more of an evolution of like the Castlevania soundscape. Now, I still think the Castlevania, like Symphony of the Night, would still be above this, based on just the base game's OST. But like I find that Dead Cells is much more in line with an evolutionary like thread to Castlevania than it is related to like Dark Souls, FromSoft games in the limited amount that I've played it for myself, right? So that's my opinion on that. Yeah. This is like the push to the finish. Huh. The crypt chant is back. That's interesting. Credits. Wow. Okay, I was wondering. Well, this is what we heard with the Prisoner's Awakening, right? Or was it the Promenade of the Condemned? There's like such a fatigue sound in that. Oh, the strings, wow. Beautiful harmony, my goodness. Wow. still really doesn't peak. It really doesn't peak too bad. Cool upright bass there. Huh. Whoa! Random syncopation. Okay. Mixed meter again. That really takes like several different turns emotionally. It's pretty dope. I mean, there's the beginning part here. I mean, I feel like that was the most interesting part. I mean, as it develops, it's still really interesting, but the beginning part is where you feel like the sort of gravity of it. All right, Cavern. Okay. What? Hey, thanks, Karomi. Yes, Iron Man. Love the like big hits on the It's like, I like that it's... I love that hit though, it's so big. I love this build up here. Absolutely adore that build up. The increase of like stress and pressure and the sharpness of the cello emphasis and the cello hit is incredibly impactful. And it just feels like you're like almost like drowning or not able to breathe. You know what I mean? Which is really, really fun. Well, it's not fun to drowning or not be able to breathe. You know what I mean? Like there's a feeling of like swimming against current and trying to push through it, and in the end you finally grab the like shore. You know what I mean? All right, let's check out Guardian's Haven, and I will be starting with this. Again, I mean, tons of doubling in there. Again, I mean, we see this a lot in this particular OST, but like, oftentimes when things are happening, especially with the male singers, that come up quite a bit. Obviously, this is a boss theme, right? So there's again those short hits, ba 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 ba, and I think again that those four notes drive home emphasis and strength and danger and like back against the wall because of their shortness, I think. That's like so frenetic. That's just like being beat on. You know what I mean? Like an unrelenting beating, a constant inability to escape attack. You know what I mean? Just constantly having to dodge. And also too, again, all of this is very hitty. Now it could just be the VST, like the particular audio design, but the hits are really interesting because they're sort of constant. It's all very short. But then we slow down. Oh, that's cool. Major. The heralding, yada yada. So that's interesting too, because that little corner feels and sounds like it's actually, especially with the trumpets and the French horn, like trombone, whatever that sound is, there's a quality in that of revelation, or almost like a holy. The way that the melody is written, there's a holy aspect to it, a reverence, a revering, a looking up upon a holy figure. Now that holy figure may have turned away from said religious, sort of place or whatever, but there's a real like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like there's almost majesty in the sound. swirling. I also think the speed is rage. The speed in a context like this, where it's like a boss theme, and like this is rage. This is like sort of like a blinders on, or sort of like going into a berserk mode. There's a sense of an unrelenting force that kind of comes through in that, and I think part of that's because we're constantly using brass. You know what I mean? There's like like what, like, I don't know. It's really interesting how we can create that sound. It's a really cool melody. Da da yada yada. To end on a short phrase like that is really effective. So it seems like I've wandered into DLC territory, which, my bad. The image is the same. I was assuming that the images would change just like the other ones have. It doesn't look like the Castlevania stuff is even in here, which is okay. We'll have to save it for some other day or time. This is the 49 tracks that I've been tasked to listen to, and that's what I'll be listening to. So I will continue this. Let me look at my schedule. I will try to continue this Wednesday of this week, but that's also technically my rest admin day plus streaming. So I will try to do that. If not, Friday we're listening to Inscription. Monday we're listening to Planetary Annihilation, which is an RTS. And it's the 14th of the month, which means... well, I have to do it within the next 2 weeks. So we'll definitely finish up in the next 2 weeks. Well, 3 weeks, but I probably won't do it this week. So let me see about Wednesday. I'll take a look at my workload and see. I'm trying to balance my schedule a little bit better, because otherwise I'll just work myself into the ground. I really appreciate you all coming to hang out. It was more of a expansion. Okay, that's fine. I really appreciate all of you coming to hang out. I didn't expect so many of you to come and celebrate the music of Dead Cells. Hopefully the things I said were illuminating, or at least either made you think, or validated your feelings on the pieces that you already have, since you spent so much time with this game. So yeah, in any case, we'll continue this very soon. Thanks a ton for hanging out, and I'll talk to you later. If you're watching this VOD, thanks for sticking it out. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. See you guys. Take care.